What's up guys, Artem MMA Analysis here, going to be talking about Road to UFC again, episode 3 and 4 this time, so the fights that are taking place on June 10th. If you guys don't know what Road to UFC is, I've made so many videos on it now, I've written a few articles as well. I'll pin an article that I've written in the comments below, so you guys can know what it's about if you don't already know, but it's a tournament to get people into the UFC. The winner of this tournament will get into the UFC in the first round. Is taking place on the Thursday and the Friday before the fights actually take place at UFC 275 in Singapore. So let's get into my predictions for the cards, man. I've already made a video on episodes 1 and 2, so it's going to be on episodes 3 and 4 on June 10th. Episodes 1 and 2 are on June 9th. Now to start off the card, Zhang Young Lee versus Bin Z. Bin Z has been fighting a pretty decent level of competition before he got into Dana White's Contender Series, and even then, there's a pretty good argument to say that he actually won that Dana White's Contender Series fight, but he lost a split decision to Olivier Murad. And before that though, he was fighting on ONE FC his whole career. Apart from that one fight, is that ONE FC, so good for Bin Z. He's been fighting pretty good levels of competition. Zhang Young Lee, on the other hand, hasn't fought for about 3 years. You know, like, I don't know, he hasn't fought for about 3 years. I don't know what he's going to look like. I don't think anyone can really know what he looks like, but what he's going to look like, but he just hasn't been super active. I like Bin Z, he's been a lot more active. He's only 24 years old as well. He's been in there with the guy from Dana White's Contender Series and put on a pretty good performance. Everyone's picking Lee. I'm going to pick Bin Z. I'm assuming Bin Z might be the underdog as well. There's no odds out for these cards, so I can't actually tell you what's going on, but I think I can probably pick Bin Z in this one here. Now, Yuma Horyuchi versus top Noi Kuram. I'm going with Yuma Horyuchi. I think Yuma Horyuchi is a really good fighter. He's 2-5 in his last 5, but that doesn't really speak volumes to how good this guy actually is. You know, he recently beat Mark Clamarco, who was 6-0. He went to a split decision with Charles Johnson, who's making his UFC debut against Muhammad Makayev. And before that, he beat Donovan Freelo, who I guess is somewhat of a good fighter on the LFA scene as well. But before that, he was losing to a couple of good guys. I mean, Ludovic Sholinian was on the Ultimate Fighter Season 29. Now, top Noi Kuram, though, on the other hand, hasn't fought for about 1 year and 8 months. And even then, the guys that he lost to are pretty good. Yusaka Nakamura was 15-6 at the time. Kai Asakura. I mean, Kai Asakura could get signed to the UFC today and make a name for himself in the UFC. So it's not really a bad loss. I think that Yuma Horyuchi is just a little bit better, though. I will be picking Yuma Horyuchi to win this fight as well. I think he should be able to beat Top Noi. I mean, Top Noi hasn't fought for about 2 years. Yuma Horyuchi fought recently and beat a pretty good guy in Mark Clamarco. I do like Yuma Horyuchi to win this one here. Now, Ancho Jubilee versus Patrick Sami. Hey man, I'm going to be brutally honest. I've always been a little bit critical on Sami, or Patrick Sami, I guess as some people might call him. Being in here because he just hasn't impressed me too much, man. He's only 22 years old, so good for him being so young, getting into this big opportunity, but he's 4-1, and even then, like, the guys that he's beaten aren't super high level. Like, I just don't know how I feel about that, but then even then, you've got Ancho Jubilee fighting on the Indian regional scene, and like, how much do you trust the Indian regional scene, you know what I mean? Like, I personally don't trust the Indian regional scene that much, but I do think that Ancho Jubilee probably should be able to beat Patrick Sami in this one here. You can't be confident though. You just can't be confident, but Patrick Sami just hasn't proved anything to me. Ancho Jubilee at least is 5-0 against not so good competition, but Sami had his step up in competition about a month ago. He didn't pass that test, and I don't think that he beats Ancho Jubilee here, so I will be picking Ancho Jubilee to win in this one here. Now, Rinya Nakamura, man, oh my god, don't get me started on how good this guy is. He's only 4-0, but this guy is a beast. Like, he's got really good wrestling. He's got insane kickboxing as well. I don't know why he's got such good kickboxing, but he just does. Like, he won his debut in 42 seconds by KO, and then he also won by KO against a guy that was 5-0 in his third MMA fight in 25 seconds, you know what I mean? Oh, 5-1, sorry, not 5-0, but Nakamura freestyle wrestling, and he has medaled at the Japan National Championships 3 times as a senior, claiming 1 silver and 2 bronze. He's a 2017 under-23s freestyle wrestling world champion, and he also won bronze at the 2011 World Championships in the cadet division as a World Cup medalist. This guy's got insane wrestling, man. I just like this guy as a prospect. He's only 4-0. He's not as experienced as Gugan Guzman, but Rinya Nakamura is so good. He's also got a really good win on his record. He beat a guy that was 23-6 only a month ago as well, which is pretty impressive in my opinion. Gugan Guzman, on the other hand, he has been in somewhat good competition, but he hasn't been super active. You know what I mean? Like, he has fought 5 times in about 3 years, but not super active. I like Rinya Nakamura. I'm going to pick him to win inside the distance. This guy is so good, man. He's insane. I really do like him to win this whole tournament. Even I think he should win the bantamweight tournament. Yadam So versus Josephine Knutson. Now, Josephine Knutson, everyone's talking about how good this girl is because she's good. Like, she's got a Muay Thai background. She went 27-5 in Muay Thai. Yes, she's 3-0 as a pro. But the girls that she's beaten, she's ran over, and even then they're not super low level girls either. Yadam So at one point was a really good prospect, but she hasn't fought for 2.5 years. She is a grappler. She's got a good grappling game. She will be looking to get to the fight to the ground. Josephine Knutson will be looking to keep the fight on the feet. But Ayla Mayonnaise, I mean, my guy on Tapology, he comments all the time, and bronze medal in the 2017 World Muay Thai Championships is Josephine Knutson, and gold medal in 2018. And she's very good. I feel like if she wins this one and the UFC gives her a contract, I feel like she's going to have a pretty decent run in the UFC. I think she probably could make a name for herself here. Yadam So, potentially the same sort of thing. She was a good prospect before she stopped fighting about 2.5 years ago. Josephine Knutson, really good Muay Thai fighter, really good striker, really good kickboxer. I think she keeps it on the feet and wins a decision, or maybe even gets a KO in this one here, which would be really impressive, I think. But moving on, episode 4, the final fights of the rounds. Shohei Knows versus Willy G. Burn. I think I've seen a lot of people pick Shohei Knows, and I am. But I'm not counting out the Beastmaster. You don't see me picking against Willy G. Burn. I like this guy, man. I like him because he's had a really bad run in the UFC. I'll be honest. He went I think he was 16-4 when he made his debut against Rolando Day, and he lost a decision to him. Then he lost to Chito Vera, and then he lost to Jonathan Martinez. But since then he's bounced back, man. He's bounced back with a couple of good wins, couple of good submissions, and even a flying knee KO of a guy with a losing record. But his only loss since getting cut from the UFC is to Kieran Moali, who I think is probably going to win the whole competition, let's be honest. But yeah, I'm going to pick Willy G. Burn to win this one. I think he's fought the better competition. I mean, he's been in there with UFC level guys. Shohei Knows, potentially, you could disagree with. You know, he's been fighting guys that aren't super high level. Like, he's been fighting good guys, but he just hasn't been fighting super good guys like Willy G. Burn has, you know what I mean? Especially in the UFC. Willy G. Burn had a good run. I mean, that Chito Vera fight aged well. That loss aged very well. Chito Vera is going to be fighting Dominic Cruz now, so yeah, I like Willy G. Burn, man. I'm going with the dog, and potentially we could even see a submission out of the guy, you know? So let's go Willy G. Burn. I will be rooting for him come fight night. Now, Asakura Junin Saviki versus Kyung Po King. You know how as this kind of reminds me, Askar Mozharov, he had his record reviewed. It went from 25-7 before his UFC debut to 19-12. Now, Asakura, before the road to UFC, he had his record reviewed, and actually, his record originally, when I was first reporting on him, was 28 wins and 9 losses. Turns out his record is better. It's actually better than that. It's 33 wins, 10 losses. That's an insane amount of experience, albeit not really against the highest level of competition. I will admit that. I don't really know how old this guy is either, but this guy's had 43 fights in, the span of 8 years? I mean, this guy's active. This guy's fought a lot, and he's also on a really good win streak. I think it's like a 10-fight win streak, albeit once again not over super high level competition. But a 12-4 guy, 25-12 guy ain't too bad. 8-2 win, 9-2 win. I mean, he lost to a guy that was 19-5, 17-7. So the guys that he's losing to are pretty good. You know what I mean? And even then, they were a while ago because he's on such a good win streak. Kyung Po Kim, he lost 5 months ago to a guy by ground and pound who was 18-6, so pretty good record there. But before that, the level of competition just isn't super impressive. I mean, 16-8 win is pretty good, pretty early on in his career, but I've got to go with Asakura, you know? And I do believe that Asakura is training out of the UFC Performance Institute in China as well, so I do really like that. So I'll be going with Asakura to win this one. I think he probably should get the job done and move on to the next round. I like him, and he's got such a good record. 33-10. It's pretty impressive to me. Now, Kai Lu versus Anga Hans. I'm sorry, guys, but Kai just hasn't really impressed me too much. Maybe he's got an opportunity to impress me now, but he's coming off a first-round KO over a guy that was 2-1, and even then, he lost to a guy that was 10-8, and the guys that he's been beating are losing records, and those fights are a little bit too competitive to my standards. And Anga Hans, good win streak right now, over pretty good levels of competition, you know what I mean? He's got a good win over Jika Espirito Saragi, who has made his way into the tournament on short notice about 2 years ago. With that being said, though, he did only fight 6 months ago too. I think that Hans should really get the job done. Kai Lu does have KO power. He does have KO power in the first rounds, but I don't see him getting that shot off over Anga Hans in this one here. I think that we should see Anga Hans manage a win over Lukai here. Now, Hyunsung Park versus Jeremiah Siriga. I think I'm seeing a lot of people on the Park side. 93% are on the Park side. And that is because Jeremiah Siriga, man, he hasn't fought for a while. He's fought 5 times in about 4 years. Hyunsung Park, young prospect. Maybe there's people that see something in him that I'm personally not. Like, I don't really understand why so many people are picking Hyunsung Park. Like, there's got to be something about this guy that I just don't know about. Like, I will be picking him to win the fight, but I'm not as confident in this 93% picking Hyunsung Park. Like, you guys are going to have to tell me why. Why are 93% picking this guy? I think Jeremiah Siriga could be, if he's a big dog, I think you could potentially ride with the big underdog here, you know what I mean? So, Jeremiah Siriga, he ain't bad. Like, he KO'd a guy that was 8-2. He beat a guy that was 4-0. He's beaten a couple of other good guys. He did lose to Wadi Sawadi, who I think, I've seen that name before. I don't know what he's up to now, but I have seen that name before. I think maybe he's a common opponent with someone else. But Hyunsung Park, yeah, someone's going to have to tell me why so many people are riding this guy so heavy. 93% picking him on Tapology. That is not a joke, man. But I like Jeremiah Siriga. I think Hyunsung Park probably should win this fight, but you're going to have to tell me why so many people are riding him so heavy, you know what I mean? But hey, I'll be going with him. John Adajal versus Hyunseo Kim. I feel like activity, man, for both guys. I mean, Hyunseo Kim's fought 5 times in 4.5 years. John Adajal has fought 5 times in 5 years, but his last fight was 3 years ago, man. Like, the guy's only 26 years old. I don't know what he's been up to. I probably should have found that out before I made the video, but... And even then, the guys that he's been fighting aren't super high level. Hyunseo Kim, I guess you could somewhat say the same thing, but he beat a guy that was 7-1 5 months ago. Lost a split decision to a guy he really should have beaten, you know, especially if he's going to be signed to the UFC. But yeah, I think that activity is going to play a big part in this one. I do like Hyunseo Kim to win this one here, probably by KO as well. Well, Adajar's getting warmed up, and yeah, that's it. I do think Hyunseo Kim probably should win this fight and get himself a contract, but I don't like the fact that Adajar hasn't fought for 3 years. But that's all my predictions for this video, man. Let me know, guys, what you think. Let me know if you're going to be watching Road to UFC. I will be live streaming during the event as well. I'll be doing a live fight companion, so I'll see you there, hopefully.